Peace and wellness to the family. Interesting discussion today. I wanted to talk about how we can turn what it is we call our jobs into a meditation. See, it's something that I noticed while being at an occupation. And is that while going through training, doing orientation, onboarding services, there's a system that they put you through. But the system that they put you through, you're not necessarily using your creative cognitive functions while being trained for these jobs. And once you learn these jobs, it becomes a robotic movement, repetitive, that you do the same thing each and every day. For most occupations, not all. Now, what I notice is that while we're doing this robotic movement of the duties of a job, we're keeping the conscious mind busy, which gives us our opportunity for our subconscious mind to go to work. All the quantum phenomena that goes on during that time with the neural activity that goes on within the brain, being able to be present physically within the workplace, but have your higher mind go out and gather information while you're robotically using applied sciences to do the job duty. Your higher mind can go out ahead of you and get your goals accomplished. That is if you have goals set for yourself. That is if you have a vision. So within going through that robotic movement, you can become one with the vision subconsciously if you use that time to not be fully present at your job because you're doing a robotic movement. It's repetitive. It's something that you're used to doing. So it's like a pattern of movements. There's no innovative initiative with that. Therefore, subconsciously, you can go somewhere else, which could be your goals, your mindset, the discipline that's needed to get there, and also, more importantly, letting your higher mind and consciousness go to work for what it is that you really want. So you can truly live in the end. You can truly live as if you're already successful, even though in the present time, you're stuck at work. But the most important thing to remember is the most important thing that's going to work for us is our subconscious mind. Now let me show you how to do this. For example, one time I was at work and I was doing my movements how I usually do, prepping my station, making sure I have everything that I need. And I started to drift off. But as I drifted off, I felt myself not being fully present at work. Mentally, my mentation had went somewhere else, which was something that I didn't do deliberately. I think it's just my higher spirit and mind just took that time and advantage for me to take advantage of becoming one with the vision while I was fully embraced in the now on a physiological level. So physically, I was still at work, but spiritually, I was somewhere else because I was so consumed in the end result of why I was even there at work. So I began to think about the goals that I set for myself and the capital that I needed to invest in my business and my entrepreneurship. What exactly I was going to do with the capital, how I was going to invest it, and what I was going to do differently than I did last time when I had the funds to invest. One of the main things that I felt that I did was focus on self-investing while at the time working for another company. But I was consciously working, but subconsciously working for myself. So I was in a meditative state. I was in a meditative state of becoming one with the mental image of myself that I was creating in the now, which would seem to be where I was at my present job. But the most eternal part of me was not present at that job. The most eternal part of me was present within the end result of success, as I define it within myself. So the meditative state began to take me into that vision of myself and how much closer I was getting, if not closer, but already there of some sort. Because I knew if I continued to do what I was doing, then I would ultimately be there. Or I was already there. This was just a part of the process of me going through it in present time in order to learn something. But what is it that I had to learn? See, the robotic movement that I was doing at work, we can attribute to applied sciences. But the true self-science was the movement that I was doing within my mind, subconscious mind travel, which was going out before me, accomplishing everything that I define as success in that present moment, traveling outside of the building into my future, which allowed me to have an elevated motion of I was already living in the end of my success story. Now, this all was an effortless flow, because not only did it make me feel good that I was living in my success story, it also consciously allowed me to do my job better. I was more proficient, more efficient at what I did, because I knew exactly why I was there. Think about it. If you went into something like, let's say, a new position at work, but you knew that at the end of this contract that you work in, that you would be a successful Fortune 500 entrepreneur. Let's say you knew this. How much would you embrace and enjoy that job? How many relationships would you take with you? How would you even look at your boss or the hard times and shifts that you have at that occupation? It would be totally different, because you would know that this is a part of your success story, and you would know at the end you would be running your own company, which would be more successful than the actual one that you're working for now. You see what I'm saying? So if we walked into an opportunity with working for a company, already knowing and living in the end of our success, then we would know that and be confident in the self-image and the mental image that we have created for ourselves with living in the end. Therefore, we would go at our job totally differently. We would have a way better attitude. Our emotions would be amplified. We would take it way more seriously, because we know this is going to attribute to how we're going to operate in our own success story with our own company and our own vision. And this is how we have to think about moving in life in general. Living in the end. Living in your success. This could be difficult sometimes. But if you are looking for motivation while working at a job, and you do have a vision that goes outside of your job and has a higher calling than your job, understand that you could use your job as a meditation by simply putting your conscious mind to work. Physically. See, the thing about it is, on a spiritual level, if you're connected to your end result, it's inevitable that you're going to make a connection and quantum entanglement with that version of yourself, as long as you're able to maintain the frequency of that feeling and the mind-heart coherence of you knowing, having a knowing in your heart that you will and are living in your success. There's a story about Thomas Edison. He used to like to stay in the theta mind brave wave form, or theta mind brave wave state. So he slept with a ball and pan. The ball and pan, he would keep a ball in his hand, and a pan right below his hand. So when he went to sleep, he would drop the ball on the pan and it would wake him up. So when he woke up, he would be in between the conscious and the subconscious mind. Now, that's what you call the theta mind state. This is when we come up with some of the most creative ideas that our mind can create. And he knew this. So he would wake himself up and he would stay within the luminum. The luminum is the barrier between the subconscious and the conscious. And this is how he would go about inventing things, his inventive mind, his innovative mind, and finding new methods and ways to create things will come alive more. Now, think about this for a second. If we can find a theta mind, a theta brainwave state while we're operating in a robotic form, giving us a meditative feeling of having a knowing that this is just a part of the process and I'm really living in my end result within the most eternal part of me, which is my subconscious, being able to maintain that frequency with no expectations though. I have no expectations other than the fact that I know if I can maintain this feeling of understanding that I'm already successful. It's already written for me because I've already wrote it down. I've already wrote it in my subconscious. I know exactly where I'm going. And more importantly, my subconscious knows exactly where I'm going and is going out ahead of me to make sure it clears a path for me. It's just like the scriptures say, I know all it is that you do. I know the desires of your heart. I knew you while you were in the womb. All we have to do is develop that power of God and supernaturalism within us. And I'm telling you how to do it. Wow, at your occupation. Allow your robotic movement to flow consciously, doing your work and job. And then allow your subconscious mind to go to that place where you have planned your success and know and live in that success through the internal part of you. Because you know it is destined. Your definite chief aim is already accomplished. Don't look with these two eyes of your present reality, because your present reality has already changed if you're living with the knowing, if you're living in the end result of what you define of as success. Just maintain that elevated emotion. Those emotional charged thoughts is what will take you to the place that you have designed for yourself. Peace and wellness to the family.